is going on, Governors? Chisgule here, and today we're on our restart project. We're almost 120 days into Rise of Kingdoms on this account, and I want you to learn from our biggest mistakes and our biggest successes. So if you're a beginning player in Rise of Kingdoms, strap yourselves in. This is going to be a good one. Hello my friends and welcome back. Today we're going to be reviewing our restart project 120 days in to the action, and there's a lot to talk about with mistakes that we made that were pretty crucial and things that we did really well. So if you like Rise of Kingdoms videos where we help you get better in the early game as a beginning player, you should like and subscribe and check out my beginner playlists, card up in the top. Let's get right into the crucial mistakes we made in this restart project where we're up to 16 million power. And the first mistake that we made is very simple. It's that we were really lazy about pushing our progress in the expedition. Even right now, I bet you we could push 5 to 10 levels in the expedition without breaking a sweat. And we really should just do that because every day you get extra rewards. I will say, on the flip side of things, something we did very well with Expedition is we actually, in this metal store, haven't been buying as much of Ethelfled, and we have been investing in the gold stars and other materials that show up in here. I've got 1.3 million medals on my main account, so yeah, rather than like just going ham on Ethelfled and then once she's maxed out, there's like not a lot I can spend my currency on. I'm spending my currency on the other stuff now, and I'm getting my Ethelfleds primarily from the chests that come from these special missions. Now let's start to talk a little bit about commanders, because I feel like overall my commander investments were pretty solid, but one commander I invested in that I kind of wish I hadn't invested as much in yet is Pelagius. Now, Pelagius is an amazing commander, don't get me wrong, but for a game mode like Lost Canyon or Sunset Canyon, he's not as great as other commanders are. Infantry commanders are better, and I actually kind of wish that for Canyon, I'd invested in Kusunoki. I feel like a Kusunoki El Cid combo for a player of like my power level here would actually be really busted good. We'll talk about Canyon in a minute. Let me flip the script a little bit and say that the majority of my commander investments were really good. Like, really, I feel very good about having expertise Boudica and having expertise Lohar by virtue of running Lohar events. No universal sculptures placed there. Expertise in Joan of Arc early as well as Sun Tzu. I feel very good about those early commander investments. And I also feel really amazing, even though it was so painful to save my legendary commander sculptures until Isong showed up. I feel very good about my investments in Isong. I even could put another skill onto Isong right now, which, I mean, I'm not going to do it this second, but I think there's another wheel or two that's going to come around here that I need to capitalize on if I can. But I generally feel very good about my investments in this legendary commander in an early game account. He was game-changing in the expedition. The second we got him, we jumped up so much in both, sorry, I should say expedition, but also in Canyon. Just totally bananas. And he lives on my wall. Just absolutely phenomenal. On the topic of mistakes that I made, this is so catastrophic. I can like hardly contain myself. Shortly after we had our baby, in our extreme sleep-deprived exhaustion, we were playing Rise of Kingdoms and we were doing stuff on this account, and we were going to upgrade our wall to level 23, and instead of pushing like the upgrade button, we ended up pushing the gem button, and it spent like 60,000 gems, which like that was pretty tragic. 60,000 gems on the wall because in our exhaustion we misclicked. And I actually reached out to support on that one, and they were like, maybe play the game better next time. So, wrecked. Totally wrecked. That's like, I don't even know. How many sculptures of Isong is that? Like, oh, it's so painful. For those of you that don't know, when you gem something, you pay the full price of whatever it is that you needed. If it's speed ups, you paid full price for those. If it's resources, you paid full price for those. I mean, they shouldn't even let you gem that stuff. Like, it's just catastrophic. And even though, like, you get warned, you can toggle to turn off warnings. Like, I gem things in the courier station like all the time. So of course I have those notifications turned off. Oh, my exhaustion. 60,000 gems on the wall. On the topic of the wall, however, I do feel really good about our garrison investment. Having invested in Sun Tzu really early was an amazing choice. Kingdoms are a terrifying place to be. I love that in Lost Kingdom you can't get rallied if you're on territory, but like your regular kingdom is honestly, it's gosh darn terrifying. Like you can get rallied anytime. So yeah, we liked having invested in the garrison. I feel pretty good about this particular garrison setup. At 16 million power, I mean, like if I get rallied, I'm just wrecked. If I get swarmed, I'm kind of just wrecked. But at least there's not extremely derpy commanders on the wall, which, like, look, when we see derpy commanders on somebody's wall, when we're on our main, we just roll them over. Okay. So I feel good about this wall. Just not how I built it. So the next sort of big mistake that we made, this was a really big mistake, was not training more troops really early on. I mean, using a ton of speed ups, even universals, to just trade a boatload of troops. That was a huge mistake. I always have been afraid of like, man, my hospital's going to overflow and then they're going to die because I'm going to get rallied. And, you know, there's no protections for that in your original kingdom. And original kingdoms early on have a lot of war and they have a lot of surprise wars. And, you know, I just didn't invest in troops in the way that I should have. And I remember there was a player, and I don't remember their name, in Kingdom 51, my original kingdom, way back in the day. And they had so many troops, I couldn't believe how much they had sped up their troops. And I just thought it was so dumb, because like you could have them die in a heartbeat. But as soon as I had like a solid amount of troops and I could be barbing with many marches, and you know, even now I could train up a whole nother march of troops to barb with. Gosh, it's just so game changing to have the troops to do the things you need to do. It pushes you through expedition. You can feel better about participating in rallies and war in general, and defenses and war. And you can barb so much more simply and easily, which means you're putting experience on more commanders and you can spend AP faster. There's a million reasons why having lots of troops is really good. You just need to make sure that when you go to bed at night, you like sleep them intelligently, putting them into a holy site that nobody can hit or a flag that nobody will build near, that sort of stuff. Like there's ways to keep your troops safe, and that would have been a really good plan. Another sort of crucial mistake that we made in the early game is that, you know, while we have been really efficient in our sort of leveling up commanders organically, over time, just by barbing and not spending a ton of experience tomes, our commanders are really underleveled compared to other people in our kingdom. I mean, most people in my kingdom, their commanders are in the realm of 50, you know, plus, and we've only got one level 50 plus commander. And we did put a bunch of experience in them when we were at war. I could have done a much better job here farming guardians on the map for experience. That is a huge amount of experience. It's huge. Card up in the top for farming guardians. It's so crucial for getting ahead of the experience game. So crucial. We could have done that so much better. And on the topic of farming things, we really did a poor job on this account of farming resources. Our resources gathered are almost 2 billion. Not even there yet. And we are so starved for resources. There are times, like even right now, I'm not building anything. I'm not building anything because I need the resources for something else. So we really could have done a much better job farming resources. And, you know, card up in the top for that resource gathering guide. It is crucial. You should gather resources very efficiently and do it all day long. With that said, what we did do really well is invest in gathering commanders. We leveled our commanders up to 37 for gathering really quickly. That is the level you need to hit to get all of the crucial gathering talents. Yes, there are more that are good, but once you get 37 talent points, you can max out superior tools, which gives you a cool 25% gathering speed, which is very crucial. So we did a very good job of rapidly leveling up our gathering commanders. We just should have done a whole heck of a lot more gathering on them. Now, one more, and I guess I should say one last mistake that we made was not really capitalizing on the events as much as we could have. We never really went all in on a event where you use up speed ups for building, and if you spend the most, you get a bunch of sculptures. There were a lot of opportunities, I think, that we could have won an event, potentially, having gone all in on it. Even a Mighty Governor, we could have done decently, I think, and got a decent amount of sculptures on one of those commanders. We didn't. I did not manage that well. Turns out that managing a baby and a restart project and a main account and a full-time job is pretty tricky. However, I feel like that's something I could have done a little better. Now, on the topic of sort of other things we did well that I do want to mention, one thing we did extremely well was to always upgrade our academy as soon as we upgraded our city hall. That we have done very, very well, and I feel very, very good about the research choices that we've made. Our economic research is in a pretty solid place. It could be better, but I generally feel pretty good about the state of our economic research at this moment in time. I also feel pretty good about the state of my military technology. Could it be better? Probably. Could I have shifted gears and put more emphasis on, since I was low on resources, spending more speed ups on things that take longer to research? Probably. However, I feel pretty good about the choices that I've made, and the state of my research in general, I think, is benefiting me pretty profoundly. I also feel like we did a pretty decent job with our gear. We've got a solid cavalry set assembled, and we also have a really solid infantry set assembled. We probably could do a little better here if we sort of built and burned these until we got the special talents for infantry on both, but I don't know that the teeny amount of stats are worth it to us at this moment in time. But the investment in gear in the early game is even more important than it is any other time, because look, once all your commanders are 60 and you've got your kind of max tech, stuff slows down for the rate at which you gain stats, but you can get gear really fast in the early game and get a huge amount of stats out of it that makes your commanders substantially stronger than they ought to be for that level, which goes a very, very long way, especially when you factor in your research overall. On the whole, I feel like we've done a pretty decent job with our restart project. Yes, we're going to continue to play. Yes, we're having a very good time. And gosh darn it, I do feel like our playing this restart project does really make us better able to advise on the early game and Rise of Kingdoms. So I feel very good about that. One other thing I wanted to call out that I forgot to is that given my commanders are so underleveled, and we honestly, like, compared to other players in this kingdom, have not spent nearly as much as others, our rank in Canyon is like really quite astonishing. We're doing very well, in my opinion, given that our commanders are super underleveled, which means they've got less talent points and I have less troops. We're doing very well in Canyon, so we did generally invest in some pretty good commanders. And by the way, I should just relocate that. That is our defense that we're using here. We've got our Pelagius sort of stranded off to die. We've got Joan of Arc protecting Sun Tzu with Yisong, which is going to be huge damage. We've got Ethelfled with, if you can believe it, Mehmed for huge damage. I can actually show you what that looks like. Our Mehmed is a 5200, but like, look, that max first skill is a lot of AoE damage, especially with Ethelfled powering out. And, we've got a Mina Cao here holding things down. We probably should level up our Cao Cao just to unlock the last skill. I'm honestly not even sure why we haven't done that. I mean, I may even just spend the experience tomes right now because that would be advantageous. I should kind of level them up organically, but like, I don't know, I just finished saying how I'm doing that really poorly, right? So if we drop some experience tomes over here, we can take him up to level 30. And, I generally don't like putting experience onto Peacekeepers, especially because this is a commander that I'm going to take to like level 40 and call it a day. But just, the rate of experience gain that we're doing on this account is just so much slower than on our main. So let's drop in the stars and we'll take this commander up, and that'll give us a nice little boost in Canyon. Gosh, and even at this point, we've still got a few mistakes that we've uncovered. Now, if there is one piece of advice I could give you around what to do with epic commanders at this moment in time, I'm going to give you a sort of weird piece of advice, which is maybe it's worth saving your universal sculptures. There were rumors, card up in the top for 2020, that more epic commanders will be coming in like the March or later time frame. So you may want to start to save a little bit to see if there's new epic commanders. Maybe you wait till the end of February before you start to do that, although who knows when or if they'll even hit. I've now got, let's see here, I've now got 178 of these universal sculptures saved up. I suppose what I could do just real quick is I could spend my gold keys, because you probably want to see that, right? I could spend my gold keys, and then I wouldn't feel so bad about expertising Pelagius, since I've already invested a lot in him, and I am using him in Canyon, and he is a solid commander overall. So let's just max these gold keys. Bada boom. 61 gold keys. We got 10 Pelagius sculptures, another 10 from the full unlock. And let's see, 5 Ishida. We got 15 Mehmed is really good. 8 El Cid, 2 Cao Cao, and 1 full Cao Cao. This was probably average to less than average rip, I feel like. So we opened all of those. We hit our commander tab. Let's see here. Oh yeah, new skill. So this is really solid. New skill on a Cao Cao. Let's see where it lands. Upgrade barbarian damage. That's not the worst. We'll have to put some talent points onto him later. We can get a new skill on the Sundok. Man, now how do we have so little of Sundok? Did we create this account after the Sundok event? Is that how that happened? Wow, I don't know. Either way, our Sundok's not looking great. Our Sundok is not looking great. And our Pelagius, we can drop another skill onto. And see, now we should just unlock the expertise skill. And this is going to go a really long way, I feel like, in our Canyon lineup. So there we go. Now we've got his expertise obtained. Feeling even better about this collection. And we can even drop a skill over here. Solid. This is another commander that we probably should do more investment in. Card up in the top, assuming I haven't run out of cards, where I show a video talking about the epics that really last in Rise of Kingdoms. This is one of them. Spoiler alert. So hopefully you found this video helpful. It's how we've really invested in this account, where we're spending way less time than we do on our main. And we've been, in my estimation, less optimal overall, but pretty gosh darn good. Pretty gosh darn good, all things considered. Please do like and subscribe. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. Dan, how's your beginning account going? How's the power? How's the commanders looking? I don't know. Be curious to hear about it in the comments.